The articulation mapping system in the Evolution guitar engine is really nice because it lets you specify exactly how you want to select the different articulations. That could be as simple as just specifying different velocity ranges or creating your own custom non-latching and latching key switches to trigger the articulations. You can also mix and match these conditions, so you could have some articulations selected with MIDI CC numbers, others on key switches, and then others on just velocity ranges. So here's an example. Let's say I want to assign the palm mute articulation to a low velocity range. To do that, I'll just click on this drop-down menu here, select velocity, and then drag the high end of the handle right here of the slider down to just about there. And that way anything below a velocity of 64 will get played as a palm mute, like this. And you can see that the palm mute is getting triggered because of this icon right here by the name of the articulation. As I play louder, it'll trigger the sustain instead. So one thing that you'll notice is both of these ranges here overlap, but there's a simple priority system in place that causes the palm mute to get selected instead of the sustain articulation when playing low velocities, even though this range overlaps, for the sustains, and technically it would qualify, to select the sustain articulation. So the priority is just really that the lower the articulation is on this list, the greater priority it has. So because the palm mute articulation is below the sustain articulation, if I play quietly, it's going to select the palm mute articulation and not the sustains. So if I reverse this situation and I put the sustains on a low velocity like that, and then I put the palm mutes all the way up, it's always going to trigger the palm mute articulation like this. And that's because it has greater priority. So this range is just completely overlapping the sustain. So if I wanted to have the sustains on a low velocity, I would just have to make sure that I drag this low handle so that they don't overlap. And likewise, the sustains could be set there and it'll still work because on the high velocities, the palm mute is taking priority. So hopefully that makes sense. Other conditions that you have include non-latching key switches, and non-latching means that you would just have to keep the key switch held as long as you want that articulation selected, versus a latching key switch, which is more like a toggle. So once you hit the key, it will stay using the palm mute unless you either press a different latching key switch, or if you press the unlatch key switch key on your keyboard. Other conditions include the sustain pedal, just a random percentage to trigger that articulation, or any of these MIDI CC numbers. So as I mentioned before, you can mix and match these conditions. So you can create some pretty elaborate mappings, or just some basic mapping setups, just depending on what you need. Most of the factory presets already have the articulation setup just based on the preset. So a lead preset might have palm mutes on the low velocities and then like a squeal at the very highest end of the velocities, just to make it easy to load up the presets and play them right out of the box without having to adjust any of the articulation mappings. So anyway, that's how the mapping system works. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.